Now that we've covered the timeline and the strange circumstances leading up to Elisa Lam's disappearance, we need to talk about the theories, and there is a lot of them. Some are grounded in psychological or physical evidence, some lean into criminal possibilities, and others dive headfirst into the paranormal side of things, which, let's be honest, all these theories are what keep this case alive in so many people's minds. All of the unanswered questions, they're there. So let's explore everything people believe that might have happened. And I'm going to walk you through these theories from the most accepted to the ones that take us into a much darker, stranger territory. The first theory is actually the one most experts lean towards. The idea that Elisa was experiencing a manic or psychotic episode likely connected to her bipolar disorder. You can see hints of this in the elevator footage. Her movements are disorganized, her gestures don't seem to follow a logical pattern, and she looks like she's either paranoid, hiding, or trying to get away from something that isn't visible to us. Mental health professionals have pointed out that her behavior matches what someone might do during a full manic break: pacing, erratic decision-making, extreme fear, and fragmented thinking. Now, according to this theory, Elisa somehow accessed the rooftop, something you technically could do using the fire escape, or areas that public wasn't supposed to reach, but from there she climbed into one of the water tanks voluntarily, confused, overwhelmed, or trying to hide. And once she was inside, she couldn't get back out. The tanks are huge, slippery, and extremely difficult to climb out of without assistance. But there are issues with this theory, and they're significant. First, the tank lid, reports say it was heavy. Too heavy, some argue, for her to lift on her own. Second, how she reached the tank without setting off alarms or being noticed still isn't fully explained. And then, the clothes. Why were they removed? Were they taken off before she entered the tank? Did hypothermia make her strip them off? Or something else going on? These unanswered questions leave just enough uncertainty that people began looking elsewhere for answers. And when a case leaves gaps, people start to wonder if something else might have been involved. This next theory, a lot of people gravitate towards that Elisa wasn't alone and someone followed her, harmed her, or manipulated her. The Cecil Hotel sits right on the edge of Skid Row, which is a place with a long history of crime, violence, and vulnerable people. Security was minimal at the time. The hotel had a reputation for dangerous activity, basically unchecked. And then there's the elevator, the way it stays open, the way it doesn't close even when she steps out of sight. Many people believe that someone is just outside of frame and may be pressing the button or just standing outside. This theory tries to answer some big questions. Was someone outside the elevator that we never see? Did someone chase her to the roof? And could someone have overpowered her, placed her in the tank, or disposed of evidence? But there's also major weaknesses here. There's no physical evidence of an assault, no signs of struggle, and nothing in the autopsy points directly to a violent attack. And that's what keeps this theory in a weird limbo. Because while there's no proof, the lack of proof is also what keeps it alive in people's minds. There's something about the whole situation that just feels like there could be someone else involved. And that idea of someone else being involved brings us to the version of the foul play theory that's even more controversial, which is the hotel cover-up theory. This one dives deeper into the idea that the hotel staff or management might have played a role, whether by accident or intention, and then covered it up. People who believe this theory point out that Cecil's management at the time had a history of negligence. Incidents were noticed, complaints went unanswered, safety protocols were just, let's just say, not a priority. Some think that Elisa may have witnessed something illegal, or that someone working in the hotel might have interacted with her during an episode and then something went horribly wrong. The water tanks in this version became a hiding spot. Not necessarily a murder weapon, but a place someone might use to conceal a mistake, an accident, or an incident that we're afraid to report. But again, there's no concrete evidence that staff were involved. What fuels this theory are the inconsistencies, delays in the release of information, changing accounts of the tank lid being open or closed, because there are both. You hear, for the longest time, when I first heard about this case, I thought that the water tanks were completely closed. It was only upon doing further research close to this episode, I found out that there were some statements that said that the lid was open. So overall, messy handling of this investigation, right? And this is where the case starts shifting from the rational into the uncanny theories, because some of them step completely outside of the realm of logic. Now, this one is infamous. The elevator game. This is a Korean urban legend and claims that if you press buttons in a specific sequence, you can open a gateway to another dimension and encounter something otherworldly. To play this, you enter an empty elevator alone and press a specific sequence of floors in a strict order. 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5. When you reach the 5th floor, a woman may enter, but you must not look at her or speak to her. If you step inside, press the buttons. Sorry, the ghosts are just... the ghosts in my room right now are just, they're getting active. As I'm talking about the elevator game, that's a coincidence? I think not. So when you reach the 5th floor, a woman may enter, but you must not look at her or speak to her. If she steps inside, press the button for the 1st floor. If the elevator instead rises to the 10th floor on its own, the ritual has worked and you have entered another world. To return, you must repeat the same sequence until you're back in your own reality. Players warn if anything feels wrong or if the woman speaks, never respond. Some internet investigators swear Elisa's button presses look eerily similar to that sequence of the elevator game. They argue that her behavior in the elevator, stepping in and out, motioning at someone unseen, acting confused, lines up with what people describe as playing the elevator game. And of course, people latch onto the way the elevator refuses to close, and alas, many believers of this theory. Now, according to legend, that's a sign the ritual is working now. That something invisible is in the elevator with you, blocking the doors. Now, is this realistic? Scientifically, no, of course, but culturally, it became one of the most widespread interpretations online, especially among younger viewers, discovering the case through all the viral clips. And if you think that theory is wild, the paranormal side of this case goes even deeper. Many people believe the Cecil Hotel is drenched in so much dark history, suicides, murders, serial killers living there, that the building itself has kind of a spiritual weight to it. And according to this theory, Elisa wasn't alone in the elevator. She was interacting with something paranormal.